Okay, let's start for today. Commencer. Sit down straight with the eyes gently closed. No stress. Relax the whole body. Start with relax your soles. Then the heels, the legs, the knees, the thighs, the hip region. Relax totally the muscles of the stomach, the back, the lungs, shoulders till the fingertips in the arms, and relax the neck, the facial muscles, and feel the relaxed state at the level of the mind, the brain. Deep inhale, and while exhaling, tell yourself, I'm going to exhale all the external stress, emotions, and feelings outside. And remember the free step, breathe in and breathe out. So breathe out by pulling the shoulders slightly down. Contract the lungs, then push to the belly button, contract the stomach till the back as far as possible. Slowly, gradually inhale. First inflating the stomach, then the lungs, pushing the shoulders slightly upwards. Feel the air circulating in the whole body. And some careful attention, you can feel the air circulating even at the level of the brain. We'll do this 3-4 times. Then we'll proceed with japa, chanting of the universal sound. Om. Deep inhale, and while exhaling, we're going to chant Om, the universal sound. And pay attention to your own chanting. We'll do 3 times vocal, 3 times only lips movement, and 3 times silent chanting. And just feel the vibrations during the chanting, especially the sounds of silence when we are going to do the silent chanting. I'll be guiding, and you'll be doing only the lip movement for the Om chanting.
Acharya-ji, just apology, my sincere apology, because I had a commitment earlier. I joined late, and I can feel the difference. I can feel the difference because I came in very hastily in a rush. I could not really enjoy like last week. I just hope that next time I'm not going to be late.
Yeah, but did you feel how it settled you calm from the hush and bush that you were going through?
Yes, that indeed. But last year, it was a bliss. Last week it was so nice. Today, yes, I was in a rush. I was speeding from Vakwa to come to home, just to join the class. Sorry for that, for being late. And this is why I told you last week I was prepared 15 minutes earlier. I was already here and already sat in my face and waiting for you to log on. Today, my sincere apology. You logged in already, and I could not join in.
No problem. The good thing is that you could feel the difference that when you were in the rush, just by putting yourself to silence and doing the proper breathing exercise, you could feel the difference. That was the transition, and it's good to feel the transition when you are in action.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you.
Because you can feel really the difference that and the serenity, the calmness that it brings to you. That's the most important, because when you can feel it when you are in action, then you'll be able to walk the way safely and surely.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll be sharing screen. I've got a very nice article from Times of India. So I'll be reading it, but I'll be reading it by sharing screen. And I just hope, because I found it very interesting. So it says, we will breathe freely and better again. Life and death are universal cyclic movements that pass away in endless succession. Nothing is substantial, solid, and tangible in the world. Health and disease, hope and despair, happiness and sorrow are two ends of the same continuum. So it's talking about India because it's from Times of India. The second wave of COVID-19 pandemic sinisterly, gloomily felled lives, livelihood, and normalcy. Terrified by this outbreak, more and more of us have become spiritually oriented. The young and old now turn to prayers in their sacred puja rooms, daily beseeching for the safety of all. Along with these prayers, most stubborn mindsets have transformed to kindness by adopting yogic practice, using lungs as pneumatic tool to remove intoxicants, stimulants, and distractions, and also to enhance their lung breathing capacities. With the breath inhalation, retention, and exhalation, the release of toxins happens effortlessly. Playing conch also strengthens lung capacity for oxygen retention and lowers stress. Science also states that controlling breath can change the response of the body's automatic nervous system that controls unconscious processes such as heart rate and digestion, as well as the body's stress response. Consciously changing the way we breathe appears to send a signal to the brain to adjust the parasympathetic nervous system, which can slow the heart rate, promote the feelings of calm, as well as the sympathetic system, which controls the release of stress hormones. Many maladies, such as anxiety and depression, are aggravated or triggered by stress hormones. When we take slow and steady breaths, the brain gets the message that all is well and activates the parasympathetic response. When we take shallow, rapid breath or hold our breath, the sympathetic response is activated. If we breathe correctly, the mind will calm down. The dormant prana as life force in the process reactivates electric and magnetic impulses of the brain and energizes the whole body. The cells simultaneously regenerate as the breathing supplies oxygen to the entire system. Deep breathing also gradually increases efficiency and helps the immune system regenerate to fight infections and other dormant ailments. This, on the whole, calms the mind and acts as a shock absorber. Meditation helps in decreasing metabolic rate. Lower the metabolic rate, longer the lifespan. Higher the metabolic rate, shorter is the lifespan. In meditation, consciousness fluctuates to a higher plane in the state of pranayama, as each breath inhaled has a corresponding state of physiological effect on the body system. Human mind is more oblivious to nature's vibrations. As within each of us lies the tremendous force, soul force. The collective effort to overcome the challenges posed by the pandemic, desperation, and death have taught us that difficulties and adversaries at the moment or other require compassion by someone sometime in life. Panic can cause overestimating of the pandemic threat and underestimating our coping abilities, whereas bravery, confidence, with tranquility act as an elixir to overcome it. Everything has a beginning and an end. The stillness of activity has to gradually limp back to normal routine, and life has to move on. The future is expected to be once again bright with the same bustling activity as it would be. Never lose hope. We will breathe freely and better again. That was a very interesting part of it. That's from Times of India. I shared the link to Kavi. You can forward that to all of you. Let's try to dissect this article. Life and death, we all know the cyclical of it, especially when we talk about karma. And nothing is substantial, tangible in the world except that when we are born, we are bound to die. And if, as we say, Mrityurma amritam gamaya, if we want to trip the cycle of birth and death, we have to go on the path of yoga, and that starts with one regulating our breathing process and sitting in the correct posture, asana and pranayama. But before that, there are the edicts of yama and niyama, which are social and personal discipline. Then he's talking about the pandemic and how people have come to learn about using their lungs as a natural tool within the body to remove intoxicants, stimulants, to be more focused, increase lung usage, and increase oxygen level within our body. And that corroborates with science. Because when we breathe correctly, and if we do the Bahya Pranayama, retaining of the breath outside, we can feel the changes in our body while retaining the breath, and we'll experience that during a short practical. Then it goes about removing illness, especially anxiety and depression. And remember, even modern medical science defines 90% of the actual sickness in the world is either due or aggravated by stress. And if we breathe correctly, if you could feel it when I was saying about relaxing the whole body, and when you breathe out, tell yourself you're breathing out the whole stress accumulated within the body. So it's a question of motivating yourself and telling yourself, pushing your energies to do that. And he talks about the dormant pran. And remember, the Ayurveda describes 10 life forces in the body. The three main ones are pran, that is breathe in and breathe out. Apan is the life force, the breath circulating around the stomach. And Vyan is the other life force which goes around, just a minute, is the other life force that goes around, which pushes oxygen and nutrients to all parts of the body and also acts on the lymphatic system, which drains out toxins from the body. Then meditation decreases metabolic rate, and look at the good thing of it, it's telling one fact. The lower the metabolic rate, the longer the lifespan, and the higher the metabolic rate, the shorter the lifespan. This is also a fact of science. The more we are stressed, the more we are engaged in pushing our energies, the more we are working towards decreasing our life. So that's why it's good to take time daily and regulate those systems. There are some rush things we can't avoid, but if you manage to regulate that, we can at least bring to equilibrium or reverse the trend for the time that we are sitting in breathing and meditation process. It talks about the human minds, and remember, it's about vibrations connecting to nature and the whole thing. And the last part is saying about panic. It's talking about overestimating the pandemic, but also underestimating our coping abilities. And remember, the panic about COVID was people rushing to the hospital. Everybody who had COVID thought he needed oxygen and he needed all the emergency care, when really that was not the case. So I'll just stop the screen share. Just give me 1 minute. It describes the real situation. And the good thing is that Kavi could do it. He could feel the experience today himself from the rush that he was running into, and just doing the job and the breathing, and he could start feeling coming back to normal. So, in fact, the rishis prescribed meditation morning and evening. So morning is what, when we do the breathing exercises and engage into meditation, we are preparing, as we say, it's like a vaccine for the day, preventing that we are overcome or overdrowned in stress. Gives us the lucidity of mind of how to tackle anything that we can face during the day. And in the evening, it's to get ourselves back to normal, to be relaxed, to connect to ourselves, and use those moments to have some good rest and good sleep in the night. So that's regulating our own body system. Let's move now into practicals of Bahya Pranayam. Remember, it's deep inhale, slow, deep inhale, then forceful exhale, retaining the breath outside till you start feeling some discomfort. And when you start feeling discomfort, then gradually, slowly breathe in, at least 1 or 2 times. Then again, deep inhale, forceful exhale. Retain the breath outside as long as you can. And when you start feeling discomfort, you again start inhaling. And remember, the inhale and exhale process would be on the 3 steps. That is, exhale, pulling the shoulders down, deflating the lungs, and deflating the belly. And inhale would be inflating the belly first, then the lungs, and pushing the shoulders up. And observe the vibrations or the sensations which you may feel when you are retaining the breath outside. So deep inhale, forceful exhale and retain outside. When you feel the discomfort, then you breathe normally. Deep inhale. Forceful exhale and retain the breath outside. Deep inhale and followed by forceful exhale, retaining the breath outside. So that's it. You do it 3 times. Morning 3 times, afternoon. And remember, it's always to be done before having food, or if you have food, then it's 2 hours after having food and drinks. That's good because if you've been able to closely watch yourself while retaining the breath outside, Probably you could have sensed pulsations throughout the body. So if that's the case, then you're slowly, gradually putting yourself on the right track of pranayam, breath control, retention of the breath. And what does this Bahya pranayam does? It helps bring the focus, helps us to focus on what we are doing, we are practicing. And that also helps us in other phases in our life. Whenever we need to focus, be it on our work, be it we are cleaning, we are cooking, we are having bath, or we are driving, we are better focused even at work. Even when we are going to sleep, we are focused that we are going to sleep. So we'll be able to enjoy a deeper and better sleep. And one sutra in the Yoga Darshan, one aphorism says, Abhyas Vairagya Tan Nirodha. Abhyas, continuous practice. It's not I practice today, then I practice after 1 week, get some feelings of it and say, okay, I'm on the right track, and then I'll practice after 15 days. After a month, I'm not going to achieve anything. Needs regular practice daily. Then vairagya, in the detached attitude. And when we are sitting there, and if we tell ourselves when we are breathing out all the negativities, all the emotions and the feelings that we've been connected to during the whole day, that's the detached attitude, and it's going on the track of vairagya. Then tan nirodha, if we do that, we can just put a halt to the fluctuations of the mental and emotional activities. And when we've done that, that is the beginning of Dhyan meditation. Any questions?
Just one question. If anyone wants to have a question, Acharyaji, I just a query when we were breathing. I thought of a rishi who has achieved samadhi. Or
just a minute. Could you please talk a bit louder because the sound is not reaching me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just having a thought that when some yogi go on the other stage of samadhi, how they are in trance and they don't move. This is what my perception is. As such, I was thinking that they don't move, they don't eat, they don't sleep. So do they feed themselves with air, just air, or there is something special that happens?
You remember we were reading in the article about metabolism rate?
Yes.
The lower the metabolism rate, the longer your lifespan. So this is where that plays on our physiological state and our body state. As and when we grow on the path of yoga, with the practice of yama, niyama, social and personal discipline, going to asana where we learn to sit down in a correct posture for a long time, totally relaxed. Pranayam, doing the breath control, Then pratyahar is we are introverting our senses instead of letting the senses go outside, looking to satisfy our taste, our smell, our sight, our hearing, and our touch. We are moving inside. Then the next step is dharana. We are focused. Dhyan, we are gone into meditation. And at the level of samadhi, especially the final stage of samadhi, we've totally minimized our metabolism. So when we've minimized our metabolism, the body needs less and less food and drinks. So when we've reduced that, we can optimize on our body energy, make efficient and effective use of that, as we say in the modern management words, efficient as well as effective use of those. Get the best of the productivity, as we say, and make the most out of it. This is what happens. It plays on the metabolism, and the metabolism is just slowed down because the mind sends the message to the body. And when the mind sends the message to the body, it shows that the soul is directing the mind and the mind is controlling the body. So that is where it helps.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I understood it.
Any other questions? So I will just take what a few parts of the Yoga Darshan of Maharishi Patanjali. We were talking about last time Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, silencing of the mental and emotional activities. Then the main is Vritti. The next sutra was about after Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, it says Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam, recognizing our true self. And at the level of samadhi is recognizing the true self, the soul in command of this body. Just like when you're in the driver's seat, you're in command of the vehicle you're driving. And it depends totally on you whether you want to reach safe destination by driving carefully. And obviously, if it's carelessness, reckless driving, we may end into the drains. So it says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. We need to recognize that the inner self, call it the consciousness, the soul, Atma, Jivatma, this is what is in control of our mind, and the mind, which are the reins directing the other body parts. Then the next one says, Vritti Sarupyam Ittaratra. And this is where the problem lies in our life. We tend to take external things as part and parcel of ourselves. Even the body is external to the soul. The soul uses the body as a vehicle. Just as when we are in the driver's seat of our vehicle, the vehicle is a medium for us to reach destination. So the body is a medium for us to reach the destination on the path of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Then it talks about the obstacles in that. Vrittaya, Panchataya, Klishta, Aklishta. There are 5 types of mindsets or 5 types of obstacles that can stand in our way on that. And these can be really, as we say, hurtful. And if we know how to use them properly, then they'll be beneficial. It says Praman, that is life experiences, Viparyai, contrary knowledge, or things which don't exist where we believe that they exist really. Then Vikalp is a position where we don't know where we stand. Nidra, irregular sleep, and Smriti, memory. These are things that may hinder our focus. And if we are aware of that, we know how to be careful and will be able to move on the path of bliss. It's Praman, Viparyai, Vikalp, Nidra, and Smriti. And in Praman, we have things which experienced ourselves. And in that, probably, this is what leads to addiction, and that disturbs our life. It can be addiction to food, it can be addiction to drugs, it can be addiction to drinks, it can be addiction to anything. And that is going to downplay our control on the body. And after that, Viparyai, that is, we don't know the real state of the object we are thinking about. Like if I say things which are just imaginary, like if I say the horns on the head of a person, the words are really words that are well phrased, but the sentence doesn't lead me nowhere because nobody is born with horns on the head. So even words may exist, but the thing doesn't exist. And I'm just pushing my mind, trying to think about it. That is an obstacle. But if I know that I should not pay attention to these, then I'm continuing my way. Just when I'm driving, I see so many things on the sides of the street. I just don't pay attention and be focused on my destination. So these are the things that we need to be knowing. If like Nidra, if you have proper sleep pattern, it's rare that sleep will impinge on our daily life, on the other daily activities, if you have a regular life. But if we are living like the owl, being awake at night and sleeping during the day, except for those who have to work on shifts. But for the normal, regular person, there's no need to live the life of an owl. And Smriti, we should know that at times memories come, but we should let the memories override us, take control of us. So that's one aphorism, one sutra, which we went into today. And we just hope slowly we'll take the sutras of the Yoga Darshan, which applies or which can be helpful to us to live a better life, because I'm used to that, taking the practical applications of the knowledge. I'll try to guide you on that, and I hope that will just be beneficial to all of you. So I'll leave Kavi for the closing words before doing the Om Jap for closing. Kavi, please.
Thank you, Acharya Ji. Thank you for elaborating so nicely on today's session. Well, if anyone have any query, it's time. We've got a few seconds left. Else, thank you all for joining. I'll let again to Acharya Ji, again over to you, Acharya Ji, for the closer.
Yeah. So we'll do the Om chanting 3 times again, silencing ourselves, and a word of gratitude to God for having given us this knowledge to lead us, given us this day of today and the time to join, and for all those who've put the time to connect on this, and also our gratitude to Hindu Center of Atlanta for using the Zoom connection. And just remember, practice makes perfect, and perfect practice makes perfect to the square. Om. Om. So thank you all. Namaste, everybody. Have a nice weekend and a nice week ahead.
Thank you. We see you next week, same time. Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.